Hey guys, Jake here, and today I've got my Week 5 match of the CPC versus Aberforth, who is the coach of the Brisbane Brelooms. Aberforth is a really good player, both in ladder and in the league. Pretty sure he's one of the best Ubers player of all time, and he's also done really good in leagues such as the NPL, which is probably the most competitive league of all time. So yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing. He's definitely a tough opponent, so be sure to check him out. And so yeah, I was pretty excited for this game, but this is also a very, very important game. This is a divisional match. I'm 4-0 and he's 3-1, so this is a match of two top contenders in our division, which means this game, the stakes are high for this game. Pretty much the matchup for this game was probably in my favor, but I still built really hard for this just because of how important this game was. I just want to pretty much try and secure playoffs early on, and I also want to go undefeated as long as possible, just for personal achievement. So yeah, I built really hard for this game. I had like 5 mocks. Shout out to all the people who gave me mocks. It's really appreciated. I love all you guys. So yeah, thanks for that. I'm also not going to be going into too much detail about some of my sets because we do play again since we are divisional opponents, and I don't want to give some information that could be best if I kept to myself. So yeah, his team consists of Manaphy, Zygarde 50%, Nihilego, Magneton, Lucario, Swellow, Alolan Marowak, Shiftry, and Mega Gardevoir. So Swellow is a pretty big threat to my team if my Bronzong gets weakened. It can almost get a kill, because I'm pretty sure Facade plus Quick Attack has a chance to kill Aerodactyl after Rocks. I don't have any other switch in besides Bronzong, so I definitely have to keep Bronzong healthy for this Swellow. Shiftry, I saw it once in mock, and it was a really cool set. It was a Swords Dance explosion, like a suicide bait, and it one-shot my Venusaur. So I figured this thing's probably going to be Swords Dance, but I'm not sure what its item will be, so I'll definitely have to scout this thing set early on while also not being too passive and letting it set up for free. He's also got the Mega Gardevoir. Bronzong is my main switch into this, but I figured he's definitely going to have a way of dealing with it. Like, he could be bulky with Will-O-Wisp or Shadow Ball, and he might be offensive and try and go for the Shadow Ball to catch my Bronzong and then switch it to a KO me. He's also got the Lucario. Lucario I'm not that scared of because I do have good ways of revenging it, and my Venusaur can deal with it alright, unless he's like a Psychium Z variant, which I'll definitely have to be on the lookout for because Lucario is his eligible mon. He's also got the Manaphy. I kind of expected the Manaphy to be a defensive variant, so I can switch into my Garchomp and Azumarill and Aerodactyl. But he could always be Taillow. I'm not really sure. Manaphy is so versatile. It has a lot of options every week. And he's also got the Zygarde 50%. This is also a huge threat to my team because if he's like a Coil variant, then it could be super hard for me to revenge. Stuff like my Garchomp does really little damage to a bulky Zygarde. Also, Azumarill doesn't even do that much. And yeah, it's definitely going to be tricky to deal with if it sets up too much. As for the stuff he didn't bring, I was pretty happy to not see an Alolan Marowak because I actually did not have a switch into a thick club Alolan Marowak, but I definitely understand why he didn't bring it. A lot of my stuff just outsped in one-shot Alolan Marowak. As for the Nihilego, I'm not surprised he didn't bring it. Stuff like Bronzong hard counters it, Azumarill Aqua Jets it, Garchomp one-shots it, Venusaur takes on it well, Aerodactyl outspeeds, and Can Oko Hoopa. Also, it was good for my Zapdos too, I guess, but yeah, I just really didn't feel like Nihilego had the best matchup. Magneton I kind of expected to trap my Bronzong, but he opted not to bring it. And yeah, as for my team, First Mounted Guard is an offensive Garchomp, I've got dual stabs, and I've also got sword stance. If I can set up after a sword stance, I pretty much one-shot his whole team after rocks unless he's a defensive Manaphy, so that's really nice. Garchomp just obliterates him. He doesn't really have a great switch into dual stabs besides a defensive Manaphy, and I outspeed pretty much everything except for Nihilego and Swallow. So yeah, Garchomp is definitely win condition this week. As soon as I looked at the matchups, I just saw that this thing destroyed him. Next mon I've got is physically defensive Mega Venusaur. This thing is my main Zygarde check. I've got him Power Ice to do about 50% if he's offensive, and I can still do decent damage if he's like a Spadef sub variant, so I can always break his sub. I can also deal with a Lucario pretty well unless he's Psyche MC. I will have to scout for that. Because Lucario is his Z eligible mon. So yeah, Venusaur is pretty important this week. It's kind of a nice glue. I can also potentially deal with the Shiftry. Shiftry doesn't do that much to me. Next mon I've got is a pretty bulky Belly Drum Azumarill. I think I'm actually impish this week to take stuff like 1,000 Arrows and Extreme Speed from Zygarde better. Also take hits from Lucario better, and take quick attacks from Swallow better. I didn't really need too much attack this week. Belly Drum Azumarill is really nice because I can set up on a few things. The priority overall is really nice once I weaken stuff like Swallow and Lucario and Gardevoir. Next mon I've got is Bronzong. Bronzong is my stealth rocker this week. It's my main Gardevoir and Swallow check, so I definitely have to keep this thing healthy. I can't let it take unnecessary damage from stuff like the Manaphy and the Lucario. And the next mon I've got is a Scarfoopa. Scarfoopa has a really good chance of cleaning up late game. I've got Ice Punch to do a lot of damage to the Zygarde. I've also got Dual Stabs, and I've got Trick if the Zygarde gets out of hand and he's like a Coil variant. The last mon I've got is a Rocky MZ Aerodactyl. This mon's nice because it outspeeds Swallow. I feel like I kind of needed a good Revenger versus Swallow. I can also do a ton to the Gardevoir. I can taunt stuff like Zygarde, so it doesn't get a free setup. I've also got Ice Fang to potentially 2KO the Zygarde if he is offensive. So yeah, Aerodactyl is nice this game. I almost had Cinccino over it, but I opted that. Aerodactyl was overall more reliable. It's definitely gonna put in the work this game. So I decided to leave with my Venusaur. I knew even before this game started that I was gonna lead off with my Venusaur because it matches up pretty nicely versus the majority of his team. And if he goes if he leads with Gardevoir or Swallow, I can act accordingly. So I lead off with my Venusaur as he leads off with his Shiftry. I'm just gonna fire off a safe hidden Power Ice here. It probably 2 KOs. I live anyone hit from the Shiftry easily. Even if he Sword Stances on this turn, I still live anyone hit. So as he searches into his Lucario, and he reveals to be Air Balloon, and thankfully I popped that turn 1. So here, I'm just gonna stay in and go for the Earthquake. Maybe this was a misplay. Perhaps I should have scouted for the... Oh wait, never mind. I'm done. Basically, what I was gonna say is I should have scouted for the Psyche MC, but he revealed that he's Air Balloon, so he's obviously not Psyche MC, which means I can take any one hit from this Lucario with ease. Even Psychic would KO me. If he nasty plots, I could be a little bit in trouble, but I can deal with it. Getting damage on this Lucario is super nice to get it in range of my Azumarill's Aqua Jet and stuff like that. So I just click Earthquake on this turn as he goes for the Psychic. He does 43%, and I just miss out on the KO on Lucario. Here I don't want my Venusaur taking any more damage. I just don't want to like Synthesis stall to get healthy in case he goes for like a nasty plot or something. So on this turn I'm actually going to go down to my Hoopa because that damage does reveal that he's max special attack. So I don't think he's that attack invested either, if at all. So I figured Hoopa was a nice switch in. I can live pretty much any hit from this Lucario. and outspeed the next turn, because I know he's not Scarfed, he's Air Balloon. So, as he actually pulls a double into his Swallow, as I go into Hoopa. Now, he reveals to be Flame Orb, which is actually a bit better for me, because this thing will be worn down pretty easily, and it'll have to take stuff like rough skin damage from Garchomp if it has to. Also, it'll be in range of Azumarill's Aquajet sooner. But yeah, I outspeed this Swallow because I am Scarf Hoopa, and I one-shot it with Hyperspace Fury. So I also live a quick attack, so I see no reason to not just fire off Hyperspace Fury here, as he decides to sack off his Lucario. So that's pretty nice. Now here he goes on to his Shiftry. Now, here I realize one of my more expendable mobs is probably Aerodactyl. I feel like he's probably going to set up on this turn, and I can one-shot this Shiftry with a Continental Crush. So I'm gonna go into my Aerodactyl. I can live any, like, if he wants to go for a Leaf Blade on that turn, I lived it. So as he just goes for the Swords Dance. Now here, my Garchomp can live any hit from a Life Orb Shiftry. It can live a Sucker Punch, a +2 Sucker Punch, and I can do a ton with Dragon Claw. Also, but if he sets up the +3, I can't. So here he definitely has Sucker Punch. So I figured this is probably going to be a series of 50-50s. So in this turn, I'm actually going for a Taunt. So to try and like so he can't just one-shot with me, Sucker Punch, and also so he can't set up to +3 if he was Sash or something. And he does go for the Sucker Punches, I cover for the Taunt. Now here, it's just another 50-50. Basically my thought process was, I feel like he's just gonna go for a knockoff here, because usually what most players do in this scenario is just spam Taunt and eventually stall out the Sucker Punches. But and he also might have thought I can't one-shot him, because like without Z move, Aerodactyl can't one-shot Shiftry. So I decided to go for the Continental Crush on this turn, and as you're going to see, he does not go for the Sucker Punch, and I one-shot the Shiftry, which is really nice, because that Shiftry was actually really threatening. So now I'm already up 6-4, and things are looking really, really nice. So now he goes out into Manaphy. I just want to get damage on this thing. I'm not going to taunt, because if I get damage on it, I can potentially leave it in range of my Garchomp or my Azumarill. I didn't really feel like I needed to taunt on this turn. Setup wasn't too scary. I felt like the damage was more useful. I also wanted to get in range of Scarf Hoopa, so I'm just going for the Stone Edge. Thankfully that hit, and I do a nice chunk of damage to this Manaphy. Aerodactyl did its job. Killed a Shiftry. Swallow is less threatening now that I know it's Flame Orb, and I've still got my Bronzing at full health, which is really nice. As now I go down to my Azumarill, I'm kind of sacking this Azumarill just to get damage onto this Manaphy, and then eventually come in with my Garchomp. So here on this turn, I'm just going to get Play Rough so I can get it in guaranteed range of my Garchomp or Hoopa, as long as I don't get burned. So he's going to just go for the Scald here, which makes me think he probably doesn't have it. Well, actually, yeah, Scald makes sense on that turn. But here I go for the Play Rough, and I get burned on that turn, so Play Rough isn't going to do that much damage, but from that damage I know he's offensive Manaphy, which means he's probably in range of my Garchomp right now, unless I get a low roll. He also revealed that he's not leftover, so here he goes for the Psychic, and now here I go for the Belly Drum, because I figured Scald might be his only way to hit me, and if that's the case I could just set up a Belly Drum, do a ton of damage to him. I can still get a lot of damage on the rest of his team if I kill this Manaphy, even if I'm burned. But unfortunately, he goes for the Psychic. Even after the Citrus Berry and burn, I'm still in range of another Psychic. Aquajet does not take him out. So I figured I didn't really see a point of staying in. There's no way he goes for an Ice Beam here. So what I actually decided to do on this turn is just go straight into my Garchomp. I can take a Psychic with ease and kill him with an Earthquake, and I do that, And so yeah, that's pretty nice. Now here he goes on to his Gardevoir. So now this is the point where I realize, oh crap, once I damage this Gardevoir a bit, I just kind of win with my Scarfoopa. I one-shot the Zygarde if he's offensive, and if he's defensive Zygarde, I still 2-hit KO him, and he can't one-shot me with arrows plus extreme speed. Swellow gets one-shot, and Earthquake plus Ice Punch from Hoopa kills the Gardevoir. So here I'm just going to sack off my Garchomp. I'm going to go for the Earthquake, and that does 73%, so I'm pretty sure that's bulky Gardevoir damage. But yeah, now I just bring in Hoopa, and I just spam Ice Punch. So yeah, there goes the Gardevoir. Here he brings in Swellow, which dies to the next Ice Punch. And now he goes out into Zygarde. And he will get 2-hit KO'd, and that arrow does actually really little damage. So yeah, GG to Abe. That was a relatively short game. We were able to pick up a nice 4-0 victory. I do apologize, that was kind of a tough matchup for you, Abe, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing you later on in the season. I'm sure it'll definitely be a better game that time. So yeah, thank you all for watching. GG to Abe, make sure you check him out. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Bye.